What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Zachary Reality. It is Zachary Reality, and we are here with Natalie, Pascal's daughter from the Golden Bachelorette. I'm so excited to chat with you. I've seen all your TikToks. How are you?
I am so good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to chat with you about the show because I haven't talked to any of the kids besides you all season, so I feel like you have a really interesting perspective.
Yep, I do. I definitely do.
Yeah, I'm sure. It was so cool to see your Instagram post with every single kid, like in the
I know.
chairs. They really made it like family friendly.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I know that the guys have developed like these crazy friendships and everyone on TV fell in love with them, but meeting the kids, like we are all like so close now too, and we've built the exact same friendships. And yeah, they're all amazing. I love every single one of them.
Do you think it's because a lot of the kids were the ones who nominated their dads for the show?
You know what? Surprisingly, a few of them just kind of like talked to their dad about it and then they nominated themselves. Some of them just completely nominated themselves. So it's kind of fun to hear kind of how their dads got on the show. But I think that we all have it in common that we've watched our dads on TV doing some very interesting things sometimes that we wouldn't normally see. And just being able to relate to that's been really cool.
Yeah, what a treat to like see your dad on TV, especially like later in life now that you're grown up, and like to think that you were the one who nominated him for the show, and you're like, this was my doing, this was my work.
Yeah, honestly, I knew that he would thrive in an environment like this, and you know, he's been talking about like wanting to meet someone and like someone he can travel with and like spend time with, and I was like, all right, well, here you go. Here's your opportunity.
Yeah. So were you a big Bachelor fan before?
Yeah, I stopped watching it for a little bit, but I watched Joey's season and then I watched the first season of The Golden Bachelor, and that's where I kind of got the idea. I was like, oh my gosh, like this would be perfect for my dad. My dad should do this.
Yeah. And then when you found out it was Joan, because there was so many options, did you think that they would be a good fit together? Did you think they'd vibe?
Yeah, so I knew when I signed him up, I had a feeling it was going to be between Leslie and Joan. And when I showed my dad kind of the pictures of all the women, when he kind of caught on to the fact that I was signing him up for this, he picked her out of the whole crowd, like out of all the women on Gary's season.
Yeah, Gary.
Okay. On his season, he picked her out of all of them. So he was like, she's beautiful. And I was like, okay, cool. So when we found out it was her, we were both so excited. And yeah.
Yeah. So did you grow up in like Chicago? Because I know you live in Vancouver now. So talk to me about like how many kids you have. Are you married?
Yeah. No, I'm single. I'm a single mom. I have an 8.5-year-old little boy.
Aw.
I live actually 4 hours from Vancouver. So I live in a smaller city called Kelowna. Not many people know where that is. So I just say it's near Vancouver. And no, I moved to Canada with my mom when I was 8 or 9 or 10. And then I moved back to Chicago to go to hair school because I do hair as well. And I worked for my dad for a bit. And then I came back to Canada and then I've just been here ever since. So.
Oh, fun. Okay, I was wondering how you ended up in Canada from Chicago, but I love seeing your hometown date and seeing the whole hair salon, and I thought it was so emotional. What was it like filming that? Because I'm sure you were so excited since you nominated him to like, now it's like you're gonna see it in real life, like how the show is made and just like see your dad in that environment.
Yeah, I think that day was really emotional for me as it was because we hadn't seen or like talked to my dad in what felt like forever. And so I know like just as they were like loading all the stuff into the house, I just started getting so emotional. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. And yeah, I felt really, really excited for him. I was excited to see him and
See what the connection was and like
and,
see
and,
like
and
what
see the
happened.
connection. Yeah, because I mean, he made it that far. So I was just excited to see kind of what they, you know, built together. So
Were you surprised that he made it that far?
I wasn't. I know my dad, like when he's into someone, like I know that like he's fun, he's outgoing, he's very like a lighthearted guy. He just like loves life. And I mean, it seemed kind of like she was, you know, similar to that. And I mean, I personally thought they were going to be an amazing fit. So kind of, but also I was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. But
yeah, like how could you predict like what's gonna happen?
no.
Like you never know if you're gonna go home night one or
Yeah.
make it to the end.
Yeah.
But he made it really far on the show, so I'm sure it was a lot of different feelings as the whole season went on.
Yeah, because I mean, we knew nothing. Like, we were just like, okay, we haven't heard from him, so like he must still like be there, and we didn't know like where they were at in the process or any of the dates or anything. Like, we knew nothing. So, yeah, it was kind of cool to see their connection, knowing literally nothing. So,
Yeah. And what have the fans kind of been like online since your episode, especially with your brother? He got a lot of love as well. Have
yeah.
you seen any crazy memes, any DMs? What has it kind of been like?
Yeah, I have to say, my brother is like the star right now. Like, everyone just like is obsessed with my brother. I have girls that are messaging me being like, give my brother your number. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
crazy. Yeah, I feel like honestly, like before hometowns, I know people were starting to kind of like warm up to my dad a little bit. I know he came off a little high maintenance and a little
Mhm.
much sometimes in the beginning, but I think that people really got to see who he was and, you know, his dynamic with his family and, you know, with my son and things like that. So I think that people really started to like love him after that, especially.
Yeah. It's part of like the journey, I think, on reality TV. Like some people, they want you to not know how to feel about them in the beginning. And I felt like your dad came in so hot. He was such a big personality. I thought maybe he could have been like the villain. And
Yeah.
like him getting that date in Vegas where they were trying on all the other clothes, I was like, okay, like he's the funny guy. I'm not
Yeah.
going to take maybe his relationship with Joan super seriously. But then towards the end, it kept developing and developing.
Yeah.
And it was crazy to see how it all unfolded. What were
Yeah.
your thoughts on the character of him on the show? Do you think that's exactly who he is? Were there some things played up?
No, that is 110% who he is. He doesn't do his laundry. He doesn't cook. He doesn't clean. He honestly, he has like a full set of pots and pans in his kitchen that I've like just collect dust. I'm like, why did you even buy these? Like, you don't use them.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I mean, to be honest, no, that's actually who he is, which is like so funny because like I'm so used to it, but like other people seeing it, I'm like, oh, is that weird? Because like I don't know, I've just like always known him to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
To know him is to love him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you kind of have to like he's like an onion. You got to like peel off the layers, but yeah, I mean he can kind of come off that not like arrogant, but just kind of like I'm not doing that. I'm high maintenance, but he I mean he admits that he is, but he
Yeah.
actually like has a lot of depth to him once you get to know him, which I think a lot of people saw on the show as he kind of
Yeah.
started opening up a little bit.
For sure. He was a huge part of the show. I think he was definitely
Yeah.
one of the funnest parts, and it was crazy to see how it all unfolded, and he ended up breaking up with Joan in Tahiti, which
Yeah.
was really sad. I do think that she maybe would have broken up with him anyway at the rose ceremony because she did
Yeah.
kind of say that she felt like Pascal and Jordan were maybe like behind the other two guys.
Yeah.
But what did you think of their breakup and, you know, him deciding to remove himself?
I have touched about this a little bit, but to be honest, there was 3 dates that were planned.
Mhm.
And there was 2 guys that are way more into the date that my dad went on than my dad would have been into that date, and I think that that date was just not the right date for him, and I
Mm.
think had he had just more of, like, a lighthearted fun date, he could have been like, "Okay, well, you know, this is what it would be like if we were traveling, and this is what" but instead he got that, and I think that that really freaked him out.
Mm.
I do think and, like, I'm not sure, I haven't talked to Joan, obviously.
Yeah.
But I do think that for some reason, I think she liked him a little bit more than people are seeing. And I don't
Mm.
know why. I just like have that weird feeling. And I'm not sure if he would have made it past that week. We will never know. But
Yeah.
for some reason, I kind of think he would have. I don't know.
You think he could have been in the final 2?
I think he could have been in the final 2. Yeah. Personally, just like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just a feeling.
Yeah. Do you have an opinion on whether Joan should pick Chock or Guy, and if you think she's gonna get engaged?
I don't know. I think they're both great guys. I think that they both have like different things to offer and they both bring different things to the table. I think she looks great with both of them. I think that she has a good connection with both of them. I think that Chalk is very much more like open about his feelings. And I know Guy is too, but Chalk's just like very open about his feelings. So I think it just kind of depends on, this next week and to see kind of how it all plays out. But I mean, I think they're both great guys. I think she'd be lucky with
Mhm.
either one of them, to be honest.
Yeah. I feel like she's gonna pick Chalk. I've kind of gone back and forth
Yeah.
about it. like seeing her hometowns, because she said she really wants to pick someone that she can live, go back and forth with a lot, because
Yeah.
how close she is to her family. So I'm trying to picture her like in Lake Tahoe or in Kansas. And like, I don't know if I like necessarily see either. And there has been talks about maybe in future seasons of the Golden Bachelor, they should cast people in the same region or the same
That was
coast.
my dad. Yeah, my dad definitely suggested that, because like it's so true, because it's like, well, at that age they have like their roots, like they have their kids and they have their businesses and they have like, their homes that they've been, either living in forever or whatever, so it's hard for them to uproot. Whereas like the younger bachelor, they're kind of like, okay, well, I mean, I could get a job somewhere else, or okay, but at that age, it's really hard, because like I don't think she would want to just like uproot to Chicago. My dad's like, well, I have a business here, so it's like that's just a perfect example. And I know that he mentioned that being like something that kind of went through his mind, that last day and stuff. He's like, what happens? And like, I think everything was running through his mind that day, but that was a huge one. And he even mentioned it, he's like, I think that you should do it like city based almost, or like state based or something,
Yeah. Well, on Love is Blind, they do city based, which I think is fun, because then you get to like learn about a city's culture. But I think they can get away with doing like a region, like 5 or 6 states, maybe just the whole East Coast.
Yeah, something closer.
Yeah. It just seems like it might be hard for Joan to work out with either of these guys if it's going to be too much traveling back and forth for years and years to come. Like it seems like everyone is really settled with their families.
Yeah. And I think it's really hard, like at that age too, with again, like businesses, families, all those things, like somebody has to give something up, or you have to just be okay with, going back and forth.
Well, it wouldn't be The Bachelor if we didn't get an epic proposal and then an epic breakup 6 months later. So we can't judge until we see what happens next week and see where they're at after the final rose. But I'm very much looking forward to the finale. I want to get your take on something crazy. Your dad's Halloween costume.
Yeah.
Iconic.
That's my dad.
Iconic. I loved it. I thought it was the best Halloween costume I saw, like especially in Bachelor Nation.
I know, he definitely went all out.
Yeah.
And very in Pascal fashion. Like I wouldn't expect less of him, to be honest. And I know he got a little bit of criticism being like, that's so disrespectful. But I mean, it was a joke. And even Joan like posted it to her story. She thought it was hilarious. She's like, oh my gosh, if anyone else does this, please like show me, because this is so funny.
Yeah. Maybe like it's definitely not disrespectful. Maybe like the timing of like the breakup happening with the Halloween, but like that's just the timing.
That was the timing. I know. And I know that my dad, like he actually did like his Halloween at his salon early because of that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was like a day apart, and he's like, I don't think I'm gonna do it then. So he did it a week early, because he's like, I really want to do this. And so yeah.
No, it was so good. I loved it. Tell me about the salon. I think a lot of people were interested in it. It's huge. It seems so fun, full of life. And like tell everyone the name, where they could find it. I feel like there's going to be a lot of like Bachelor fans who are in Chicago, like wanting to, check it out.
Yeah, so it is in the North Shore of Chicago. It's called Pascal Perelle, Pourelle. And yeah, it's in Glencoe, actually, like kind of right in like the little town there. You can't miss it. It's huge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we think there will be a Golden Bachelor in Paradise? It seems like the word on the street. I feel like they should almost do it next before any Golden Bachelor or Golden Bachelorette. It'll be so fun to see them all together.
I know. I would love to see that. And like, I think there's so many like great personalities, and just the fact that all the men just like got along so well, just like they just think of it as like a vacation. Like they would be so stoked to get out there and, to be able to potentially meet someone and have all of each other's support, because there's more options. And yeah, I think it'd be incredible. Like I'm crossing my fingers that ends up happening.
It has to. I think they want to like do The Bachelor first, which they just filmed Grant's season. So maybe after that, before a Bachelorette, or maybe they'll have to wait. Yeah. I don't know. Is there anyone you would ship? And I can give you a second to think about it. For me, I would love to see Sandra and Charles L together. I think they would be really cute. Maybe Leslie and Jordan. I feel like there could be a lot of crossover.
I think Leslie and Jordan, I don't know. I can see it, but so far they're just friends.
Yeah.
They have been texting or talking and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I think they look really cute together after that photo. So
yeah, that'll be really fun. And just
I'm rooting for that.
And to get Kathy and like Susan back, just like all the girls.
Yeah.
And do you have anyone for your dad, or do you think it just has to happen organically?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think that probably like out of all of them, I would say a Leslie.
Mhm.
But again, like out of all those women, he was like Joan. Like he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like set on her. But again, like you never know, like once you meet people and like see their personalities and stuff, like it's not always just about what you look like and things like that. So, who knows? He maybe could connect with someone, and I would hope he
Yeah.
does. It's like time, Dad. Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I want to talk about your TikTok because I love getting your perspective as one of the daughters on the show. Or I don't know if there's other daughters who've been posting about their dads, but you've definitely been like the most prominent one on TikTok. So were
Mhm.
you posting before your dad got on the show? And when did you decide that it was going to be like fun for you to cover it as well?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. After the watching the first episode, I was just scrolling on Facebook and I was seeing a lot of comments coming through. Just it must have been my algorithm or something. And a lot of them were like, oh, he's too high and just like not saying very nice things. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go on TikTok and I'm gonna, tell
Defend his
them
honor.
defend him. And that's exactly what I did. And ever since then, people are like, we really like hearing your perspective and all this stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll keep doing it. My dad was like, keep posting those videos. So
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
kind of kept kind of recapping and yeah.
I mean, I don't see why not. I feel like all the daughters should do it. I mean, if they're
Yeah.
into social media, but I remember when
Yeah.
I first saw your video, I was like, no one's ever tagged me in this because I just feel like it's so fascinating to like get this perspective because we've never like of course all the Golden Bachelor, kids are watching the show and like
Yeah.
are on social media versus like when the parents are they're not really on social media or we've seen parents on Facebook,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now that you can be on TikTok, it's just like
Yeah.
so roles reversed and it's so niche and it makes it
Totally.
so fun for like all of us who are like watching the show.
For sure. Yeah, I've had a little bit of fun with it. I've done some like throwbacks of my dad. I've just started posting some of the stuff from the Men Tell All. Like there were so many cute moments. Like I can't wait to share more of it.
Mhm.
And I do know that there is a TikTok that we're working on as the Golden Kids right now, and that one's going to
Oh
be
my
really
God.
funny. All the Golden Kids we're working on this TikTok. So we're excited about that. I think they're probably going to post it today or tomorrow or something. But
Oh my God, that'll be so fun.
yeah.
Okay. What did you think of Charles L and his daughter? I mean, they were such like a fun, light part of the season.
Charles is the sweetest man on the planet. And like, obviously, I met him and he is just as authentic. He came up to me, he's like, I love your dad. Your dad's like my best friend. Like, I love him. And I was like, oh my God, that's so sweet. And his daughter is like the sweetest. Like, they are
Mhm.
honestly like the most kind, genuine people you'll ever meet. Like, not a mean bone in their body. I was
Mhm.
talking to his daughter the other day, actually, and I was like, how's Charles doing? Like, I need to know how Charles is doing. And she's like, well, he got his first PR like
Oh,
package. I'm like, what was
no.
it? She's like Quaker Oats. I'm like, yay. It was so
That's
cute.
so funny. I hope that some of them make content or like
Yeah.
force your dad to get on TikTok because
Well,
we
Charles
want to see it.
apparently just made his first TikTok, and I just messaged her. I was like, "What's his TikTok? I need to follow him." But apparently, he just made his first TikTok, and it's really cute. So
Okay, I think I saw it, but I hope that like I hope someone teaches him. Like I hope no one's gonna
yeah,
run his account. Like maybe he could do it himself.
yeah, I hope so too. I know my dad is trying to be as active on Instagram. He hasn't quite gotten to the TikTok thing yet, but
Mhm.
he's trying to do his best on Instagram. He's actually doing a pretty good job. So
Yeah, yeah, I love it. My favorite part of Charles L when he was like, "Mock, mock."
I know, honestly, like him, like Mark, my dad, Jonathan, and Jordan were like so close. It was so cute. Like they were all sitting beside each other in the mental hall, and they didn't show all of this, but like my dad and Mark, they were like smacking him on the shoulder and like laughing with him and stuff. Like every time he'd say something, they were both just cracking up, and it was like
Mhm.
so cute. Like they love each other. It's cute.
Yeah, what was being in the live audience for the Men to All like? I mean, I'm sure it was so much fun. Was
Yeah.
anything really cut out, or do we think we got like the full picture?
Um, yeah, there was some stuff that was cut out for sure. I know my dad definitely talked a lot more, and I know, yeah, there was like a few things that were missed out, but to be honest, it was really high energy. Like everyone was so stoked to be there.
Mhm.
Like the fans and the audience, they were incredible. Like the signs that they made were so cool.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
really cool to see because I've seen it on TV so many times that I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so cool to actually be here and see
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And
Well,
Yeah.
was it like really long? Because obviously they have to cut stuff out because it's only an hour and a half like episode. But like, how long is like your day, like sitting in the chair?
It was quite long.
Yeah.
It was quite long, but to be honest, it didn't really feel like it was that long because it was actually so fun. And we were
Yeah.
sitting with all the kids. So we were all just like hyping each other up. And yeah, we were like joking around with the dads. We could kind of like chit chat with them and stuff. And yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was like a really fun day, really fun experience.
Yeah, that's fun that you guys had each other. I mean, I've been in like audiences before where you're like clap, 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 and they make you clap for like 10 minutes, and then they have to like make you smile, scream, and it's like 10 minutes later, and you're like, and you have to do that for hours. So it is like a lot of work to be an audience member.
It is, yeah. And like these people, like I was asking, I was like, how do you guys like become? And they like sign up for it. Like they like, I'm like, wow, it's like a raffle, like a draw or something. I was like, wow, good for you guys. They're like, yeah, we're so excited, and they were all so excited. They were so great. Like we got to talk to a lot of them, and yeah, they were all great.
Yeah. What was like your biggest takeaway as we kind of wrap things up from the show and seeing your dad? Is there anything you knew you learned about him, or what was just something really rewarding about like this experience for your family?
There definitely was one huge thing was my dad, again, he said it on the show many times. He's not someone that, you know, can be very vulnerable. Like he's not like that with his kids. Like he doesn't, you know, cry. Like that was the first time me and my brother have ever seen my dad shed a tear, and the whole time like we've been alive.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. And so like to be able to actually know that he can kind of dig a little bit deeper is really cool. And I think that he learned a lot about himself. And I think that, you know, he's made a lot of good friends. He learned a lot about himself. And it's just really cool to see him kind of come out of like that hard kind of exterior that he kind of has sometimes. So that was huge for me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh,
That's
and he
so
learned
fun.
how to do laundry. Not that he does it. Not that he does it, but he learned. Yeah.
That's amazing. No, dads like don't cry. Like I've only seen my dad cry once, and it was when
No.
his dad passed. So
Yeah.
like, I'm sure it was so. I mean, it's probably so fun. Like I would love to see my mom go on the show.
Yeah, I know. I would love my mom to go on the show too, but who knows?
Time will tell. Thank you so much for being here, giving your perspective. It was so nice to meet you. Where can everybody follow you and find you?
It's Natalie Christel on all my social media.
Yeah, follow her at TikTok.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, and thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, comment down below your thoughts, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.